Back to another episode of the Hate Journals. It is your girl Black Mama, and of course the wonderful and lovely AP. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
You know, I think that this is just our season. How are you?
I am good.
I am good too.
I just feel so like it's just so much is happening.
Yeah, I agree. Truly.
And nothing's happening, but so much is happening.
You know, I think for people like us, yes, I think it's hard because we forget, because I think we carry a lot of momentum with our energy.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people, not only just regular people in our lives, say like acquaintances, like coworkers and everything, to carry that energy, or to, not carry it, but like match that energy. I think it's even harder for those like closest to us.
Yes.
Right?
It is.
And so
it can be very difficult.
I have come to realize my own patterns, and like a couple times a year I will run into this wall.
You know what, you're right.
Yeah,
you are right, because sometimes it's like you forget about it and then it hits you.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, I run at top speeds at all times, and then it's like,
what's going on?
How many times does Kong have to beat down the fucking Empire State Building?
I don't understand. Like, what is actually happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what it is it's a mixture of us, like the high energy, and then it's really hard unless you're like, and I hate to say this, but like super rich.
Yes. You
already know where I'm going with that.
1,000%.
Like, it's really hard unless you're like super rich and totally not dependent upon your income of which you work for. And I'm not saying like either one of us couldn't afford to take a couple weeks off if we needed that, but realistically, like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to set ourselves back, and we both work full-time jobs and have full-time relationships, full-time life duties,
full-time.
And to be honest with you guys, and Black Mom, I'm running on E, you guys.
Oh, I'm on the side of the road. My tires have both blown out in the back.
Yeah.
I ran out of gas.
I'm on the rims.
I was just trying to make it to the gas station. Now I'm on my rims.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm headed. Yeah, and that's how I feel emotionally. Like, physically, I feel fine. Like, my body's, like, couldn't be better. But emotionally, I just feel...
Yeah, totally. I just, like, want to wrap myself in a blanket and watch a bunch of TV. But you know you're on empty, because even the sound of making that happen and then trying to get back to work in my hypothetical mind...
Yes.
Is like, oh, it's too much. I'm doing too much.
The other day I got overwhelmed when I was like, you know what, I'm going to watch something really fun and funny.
Yeah.
And I realized that the remote was on the other side of the room and I was going to have to get up to turn the TV on.
So
and I was like, well, I guess we're calling this a nap.
Literally.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing with Kane last night. We were watching a movie and all I want to do is like hold my baby.
That's all I want to do.
That's all. And you know what? Luckily for me, that's all he wants to do.
Yeah, he's like, check and check. Yeah, it's been a weird...
It's just been a weird, emotionally draining time. And I think for me and you over the past 6 weeks, each of us have had our own very special wave of it. And I know absolutely everybody knows what we're talking about. And I just want to be clear, you guys. This is definitely away from pandemic. This is like
1,000%.
Back to the regular... 1,000%. Emotional drainage of this trash society.
1,000%.
Mine has nothing to do with fucking wearing a mask or not, or vaccination.
No. I think it's just because I think we're expending so much more energy now.
Yeah.
Like talking and no masks. Actually, the masks were great because I felt like I did less work visually, like physically.
I like the dodginess of it.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I prefer it, but like I did appreciate the dodge.
That's what I mean. Like I didn't love
like
slapping a mask on my face every time I wanted to go somewhere.
I liked a lot of the head nodding.
Yes,
a lot of the dodging, the normal like
a toddler.
Yeah.
You can keep things real basic. Just, would you like a refill?
Mm-hmm. Like on the plane, they're like, you get a Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, or water, and just hold up your hands in that order.
That's it.
That's pretty sweet.
That's life was never like a child. We went back to like being children.
Yeah, and like everything just slowed down.
Yeah.
And now one of my clients actually, she said it best, like everybody's like, it's my time.
Yeah. Everyone is on like their quote unquote second act.
Oh yeah. And it is wild because a lot of people are like taking it back, which I have said this to myself, but it is funny, like the service industry on and popping. Somebody just said there was like a cute, I got my nails done with my gal
I love that color, by the way.
It's just a
love the length, love the color.
A good little summery color. Went out. She said they are offering nail techs where she's at a 200. No, I'm not going to shout you guys out because you're wild.
Right.
But $200 signing bonus to just come back to go to work.
Yes, because they cannot get anyone to come back to work. Everyone left and said, this is amazing. Why would I want to go back there? And I don't mean to a specific location. I mean in general.
Yeah.
Like everyone has realized what we've all realized and known our whole lives, that working is a racket. And that we have better things to do with our time, even if it means playing Pong for 2 hours.
Oh.
We don't want to, if I have to play Pong for 2 hours or be in there for 2 hours, I'm going to play Pong. And I know that a lot of people are irritated by this, but actually you shouldn't be. What you should be doing is really thinking to yourself, like how miserable we make work that people don't want to go back there.
Well, and it is, okay, so I go back and forth with it. I really do.
Well, you also work for yourself.
Well, yeah, but I also worked until I worked for myself. It's not like I was like one of these girls who was like a nurse and decided to like, woo, tits up and quit my job and go work for myself.
Right.
No, I did the service industry.
Oh, yeah, the service industry.
I did
1000%. Yes.
Jobs that where you're like making tips and you're working for somebody's small restaurant or a big restaurant for that matter. And I built my way up to that. And I don't know, I was making like what I would consider fairly good money.
But it's not just, that's the thing, it's not just the service industry, because there's a lot, like in medical right now, we just are having a tough time because if somebody got COVID and left, they do not. Like, they're like, why would I go back? I don't want to go back. Like, they start rethinking. It's almost, I mean, you see more help wanted signs than I have ever seen in the last 20 years.
Yeah, but people are like, yeah, I'm not going to go to work. But here's the funny thing about it, you guys, because I hear you. Yeah. I want to hit the Powerball as bad as the next person.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way.
But it doesn't. And a lot of people, unless you are really, truly taking this time to find yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of you are actually just like sitting at home, saving that money, right? Probably doing smaller things in your free time. But I just don't see a lot of people out there doing really well, thriving.
No one's doing well because being home nonstop is what we call depression.
Right.
And so it does, when you have no sense of purpose, when you have nothing, in my job industry, we see this a lot because you'll have somebody who gets injured and then that's it. Their injury or their problem becomes their new job, right? They have to go to a doctor's appointment and physical therapy and scripts, and it's this whole thing. To where it almost gives them a fear of like doing smaller tasks. Like having a job would be just mental overload, right? Because at this point you can't even mentally get to that place.
Sure.
Because you haven't been there. And I don't think people realize how much of having a purpose is what keeps you alive.
Yeah.
Like when you hear about people's stories and they're like, and her heart stopped for 2 minutes and she had no oxygen and her leg was cut off from the shark. And then we couldn't believe it, but a seagull came right out of her throat and all these, and then her hair caught on fire. And then some guy had stabbed her in the back. He was like, this is a great time for stabbing. And somehow, miraculously, this girl survived. And you're like, yeah, she survived it because she had purpose. She had things that she wanted to get done. And then she went
back out there and surfed again.
Yeah, she was like, okay, well, they're not going to keep me down.
Well, I love it. Like, you see those stories of, like, that surfer girl, Truly, who did get her arm bitten off by a shark. And then she gets out there and she's, like, still a surfing champion. I think that's a bit of a stretch for me.
Listen, if I get bit by a shark, you are never seeing me again. Bye. Bye, girl. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, 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 bye.
I die.
If I were in the ocean right now, blink, I'm in the ocean, and a shark swam by me, I'm never getting back in the ocean again. Swam
just agree more.
Casually by, and they were like, "Hey, Alex, this is the kind of shark that doesn't attack people."
To be honest with you,
I'm still not getting back in the ocean. I don't like the ocean as it is.
So it's super funny you say that because, I mean, sorry guys, segue really fast from the emotional talk, but can we just talk about how wild it is? We know sharks are in the ocean and we just be out there anyway.
We be out there just acting. No, we don't. My people don't be. Brown people know better. We go in the ocean for very specific reasons. Like we're on a boat. We're on like a cruise. But I will tell you, Caucasians find any reason. So remember that show? You know I'm right.
Us and the Japanese. They love them.
Love them. Okay, so there is a show that is on. Sorry, guys, I really am paying attention.
Is it bad to say? Is it politically correct? Or is it Japanese, or would I say Asians, or is Asians the bad one?
I think no, the bad one. I don't. First of all, if you're listening, Asians, no one of you are the bad ones. Okay, that's not what you. I'm just kidding. I don't know. For sure. That's a really great question. I don't know.
I'm just saying, if I say Asian, because I know a lot of Asian cultures will go out and like dive and.
Oh. Well, okay,
and they be out with the sharks. Is all I'm trying to say. Us,
I see what you're saying.
Caucasians and Asians.
We love the sharks. You guys love the sharks. So, or you're at least not afraid of the water. So there's a show called. It's not called. Okay, so it's like I Survived, but it's on the Discovery Channel.
Sure.
And it's called like I don't know. I almost got eaten, or I almost died. Like it's something like that. It's on Prime. You can get it on Prime right now. It's free. All the seasons. I think there's like 11. You can get it on if you have Discovery Plus. You can get it on Discovery Plus. But if you have not seen it, I implore you to go and watch it. It is about individuals who found themselves in precarious situations while doing an outdoor activity, which is why it's on Discovery, right?
Sure.
So there's a guy who went diving with his friends, and they were diving to get I don't know, lobsters. Those
big abalone shells.
Yeah. They were diving, and he is an experienced diver. He was a Navy SEAL, very familiar with the water, right? So it's not like he doesn't know. He was of Asian descent, and he was with some Caucasians. So the Asians and the Caucasians were together.
See?
They were together.
I'm telling you.
And I believe they were...
off the top of my head.
Off top of the head. I believe they were diving somewhere in Australia, like off the coast of Australia. And he says they go under. There's a book, by the way. I read the book. The book is amazing. They dive under, and he was down there, and he can hold his breath for a really long time. And he didn't realize that while he was down there, he had ended up in a riptide. Like he had been near a riptide. So a riptide meaning the ocean moves so quickly, like a tornado sort of, but what you don't feel is it is slowly sucking you up, just like in a wave. It slowly sucks you out to the sea.
Okay.
So when he popped back up, he looked around. Well, they're hundreds and hundreds of feet away from him. Hundreds. They can't hear him. And the more he swims, and when you're stuck in those, it doesn't matter because you can swim or paddle as much as you want to get to shore. The ocean's going to keep taking you back out. That statement that I just said alone gives me enough fear in my heart that I want to throw up. I hate it immediately. So you can see them looking for him, but it's the ocean. They can't see him. They couldn't see him. So they go back and they're like, we got to get Coast Guard, go look for him. So all he had was this basket full of like a crab, and he's in his wetsuit. So he's like, I did the only thing that you can do. I waited and I waited. He's like, I went into the I believe they call it the dead man roll or something, where you lay in the ocean with I didn't know this, your hands crossed. You don't move, and it'll keep you afloat. And that's what he did for 5 days.
Shut the fuck up. You can't live without water for 5 days.
He had the what do you call it? The little crab guy. It had rained a few times while he was in the middle of the ocean. he used his Navy skills, whatever fucking skills they have. Oh, there's a whole book. And he conserved water, food. He said he didn't want to kill the crab because it became his friend. He would talk to it like, these are my dreams, these are my aspirations. And the most fucked up part about it all is that morning when he left to go diving, he had a wife, or I believe it wasn't his wife. They were long time dating. They had 2 kids together. And he said when he left that morning, he was so annoyed because he remembered thinking, I just don't want the responsibility anymore. I don't want the kids. I don't want to have to take care of kids. And I don't want to have to take care of my wife. And I just want to go and live my fucking life. I don't want the responsibility of this. He was like, I was thinking when I get back, I want to be on my own.
Wow.
And you know what the Lord did? The Lord gave him some time to think about it.
Little taste.
The Lord gave him some time to think about that decision. And he did. And you should read the book.
So did he still leave?
No, oh no, he was like, and she was so sweet. She was like, I just would go to the water when they were looking for him because I knew at a certain amount of time.
Oh, of course.
There's no way he survived. So she was like, I would just go out to the water where they had launched out at, and I would just pray and just be like, talk to him. Hopefully he could hear me. Just like pray and take care of the kids. And he stayed in that pose and conserved what little water he had, little sips. And he knew how to stay alive, in the Navy, I guess. I don't know what the fucking Navy. I'm not in the fucking Navy.
Like, listen, if you fall off the boat, these are your options.
These are your options. And he knew he had to stay calm, and he knew he may have had a small water bottle on him. He may have. I can't remember, but he was out there when Bill and I still talk about it to this day, Bill is not a huge fan of the ocean. He actually doesn't like talking about this guy because he goes, I just don't know how he stayed so calm the whole entire time. How he just knew. He's like, I didn't know.
The Coast Guard found him.
Yeah, they eventually found him. But they only found him. He was trying to make flags out of the netting from, where the crab was. Because he had one of those big, yeah. It's fucking wild. But it's amazing. And my point of that story is that is will. That is, even when he didn't know he had anything to live for, when he left that morning, he thought, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I want to fucking peace out, bitch. Take these kids diving. Too. I'm going diving. I'm going to do me today. Fuck you and those kids. You do more laundry and take care of those kids, and I'm going to go do me. And while he was out there, it's amazing what kind of perspective when your life is in your hands, when you are the only one, because fucking Coast Guard finding you is luck. That's luck. And them being really good at their jobs, right?
Yeah.
But the ocean's still the ocean. That's a needle in a haystack. I mean, you'll hear the Coast Guard say it all the time. It's still a needle in a haystack. I mean, you can't see them in the water. It's difficult as it is. They're wearing a wetsuit, which is all black.
Right.
So, and he was of Asian descent, so he had dark skin. So it's hard to see him in the middle of the ocean.
That story alone really makes me feel actually just re-energized being here on land. In the high desert.
I don't understand what people's callings are. If you get bit by, like you see it all the time, people are like, I got bit. He took off half my leg, but didn't stop me. I was back in the ocean in 10 days. Well, you're an idiot. You don't learn.
Oh my God. I'm just letting you know.
You burned your hand on the stove and you didn't learn.
As a child, I remember being like, oh, sharks, but I'll still put my feet. Now I'm an adult grown-ass woman. I'm like, you know what? I can't bite my luck. I got to bide my time.
So I don't remember if I told you the story, but when I went on that cruise, I was in Europe and I did a cruise around the Greek islands. And one night I had a beer. I went to, that was my nightcap. I was just going to have a beer and walk around the outside of the boat and just take you take it all in. Beautiful. And one night the sun is setting and we're on the Black Sea. And we are hauling ass because we're trying to make it to the next port. We are running late. And we are moving. I mean, you look down in the boat and it's almost, have you ever been on a cruise ship?
Yeah.
So, you look down and you're like, okay, well, this is intense.
Yeah.
So.
It's shocking how fast.
It's shocking how fast they move with that much on board.
Yeah.
And this was one of their 5-tiered cruise. It was a big girl. So one night I'm out there, I'm drinking my beer. And I'm looking over at the water and I see all these nets, one here, one there, or whatever. And I see a camera and the captain walks by and he's just like, good morning or good evening, ma'am. You doing okay? And I said, yeah. Quick question. Because, the railing comes up to, I would say, my collarbone on someone our height, but if you're taller, if you're 6 foot, I mean, it's coming up to your waist. So I'm like, what happens if someone, boop, right now, if you just push me off into the water, what would happen? He goes, oh, I'll tell you exactly what would happen, just so you're aware. Because I said, is that why you have the cameras? He goes, the cameras are actually just sign of life. Because we're just going to track down where you went on. Hopefully we caught it on camera. He goes, number one, hopefully if somebody falls over, we catch it on camera. Now, if you get off the camera, hopefully one of the nets gets you. I go, well, what? Okay, well, this seems like a very flawed system. What happens if none of those things work? He goes, by the time we stop the boat, like let's say someone saw you fall off the boat, blow the whistle, stop the boat, you'd be 5 miles away. That's how fast and hard the propeller's working on this particular ship. It would shoot you so far out, it'd be like finding a needle in a haystack. And I remember my throat getting really tight. And for the rest of the trip, I was like, bitch, you will not catch me tripping outside near these.
No.
Absolutely not. No. I will be inside looking through like a fucking fish. Like I'm in an aquarium. Like you're out of your fucking mind.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's
scary.
It's terrifying.
Terrifying.
The open water really scares me. I remember being in Ibiza with my husband and we were swimming around. And all of a sudden, like, when I get in water, sometimes I feel like I turn into like just a small child, and I'm just out there. I'm just like,
yes, that's me. Yes, yeah, I love it.
Especially when I'm near a boat.
Yeah,
swimming.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden, I look around, and I'm like looking down, and it's just nothingness. And the boat is pretty close behind me, so I wasn't like drifted out or anything. But I just looked down, and I was like, Ian, look down into the water. Like, look down and look out and look down. And he saw and got the concept of exactly what I saw. And he was like, we're getting back on the boat.
Some people, it does not bother them.
Started to like, and for me, I don't know. That was one of the first times in my life I ever got like that chest tightness.
But you realize how insignificant.
Yeah.
You are
1,000%.
Yeah, in a situation like the sea. I mean, when I hear, really, you guys, if you haven't watched that show, please watch it. I do implore you to, because it is insane the number of stories you hear on that show. And it was like, I believe it's 10 seasons or 8 seasons, quite a substantial amount.
Yeah.
I want to say each season has probably like 15 stories. It is amazing to hear how many people get sucked out just because the water is doing the water's thing. It was just being water and you got into its way and it sucked you out into the ocean and no one could hear. I remember one girl going, I was swimming so hard. It was a woman and two guys, and they were on a trip and they had gotten off to go scuba diving, or not scuba diving, just splashing around near the boat, and they got under and they didn't realize the water had sucked them out. And when they got up, she could see them looking for them, and they were screaming and they were out there, and the one guy ended up dying. And you just, all of that you replay and you're like, all of that because you had to go in the ocean. Get into a pool. There's enough in the world against you. You get in cars every day. You survive that. You go to the grocery store. There's no mass shootings, right? And they happen all the time. Like we dodge those. We're dodging
bullets all day.
Why must
figuratively?
Why must we?
Well, actually, they were saying, I was talking to a lady, and the ocean and water, the reason we're drawn to it is because it is, ironically enough, very healing.
So you want to hear something interesting? So my husband works for a company that does like visual imagery and music, and it's meant to, especially like cancer patients, really calm them down during their treatments or during a very stressful time. It's really meant to calm down. It's really nice. I really enjoy it. I asked him once, why do you not ever have water? Because they have psychologists that research all of the visual imagery they use.
Yeah.
And he goes, because it causes people mentally to think about drowning. Water does, so that's why it's not actually calm.
Okay, well, riddle me
surface
this.
level, you think hearing the water, yes. He goes, but looking at oceans, dolphins, in your dreams, in your subconscious, it actually causes nightmares for people, and that's why they're not huge fans of it. I was like, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, get this. This is like a new thing that's coming out in day spas. This is just a fucking trip.
Yeah.
It is a pod where it's a bunch of salt water. You lay down, you open your arms, they close the pod and make it pitch black.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. First of all, I don't want to be in the dark.
Okay, I just have to know,
I don't like
whoever's down for that, you are enlightened. And the reason why is because to trust a system to make sure that you don't fucking drown to death in that pod, in the dark,
no.
Let alone yourself.
Absolutely
and
not.
I love the water. And that sounds like my living. You know that most time I'm afraid on a plane, truly.
Over water?
Over water. And it is not because of dying in a plane crash. It is because I am scared to death of surviving the landing into the water. Nobody evacuates correctly. It fills with water and I fucking drown to death. Now, isn't that the fucking irony?
No, because that is my exact nightmare. Is that I will survive.
If we hit a fucking mountain, whatever. It happened.
Right.
If I just boo, I'm out of the sky.
Right.
It happened.
Right. Things happen.
I passed out on the way down.
Didn't even know what was going on.
If fucking the people who promised to protect my safety and open the side doors,
please,
because they wanted the extra leg room.
Please, they look hungover.
Also, they need the extra leg room because, I'm sorry, frankly, sometimes they're larger individuals, and
some of you don't even look like you can follow directions.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're not hopping, you're not too sweeting my way out of there.
No,
so then the plane floods, I drown. That's really gonna grind my gears.
So I've already thought,
I survive the crash and drown, just know I was pissed.
Here's my worst fear. You know me, I love a good story. So I was listening to This American Life, and they were talking about, I can't remember what it was about. It was about a war, okay, that was going on.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the reason why they were talking about this was that a plane full of Americans and Asians, God damn it, Asians, we're coming in hot on you this week. We love you. The plane had crashed, and where it had crashed there was a diplomatic issue because there was a war going on. They couldn't just do what they would normally do, is send in help to go and get them. America was like, we'll go in. They were like, we'll fucking send a nuke. And then the Chinese were like, we'll go. And they were like, nah. So they're all arguing back and forth. Meanwhile, the people on the ground, large numbers, survived. The people have survived. However, again, nightmare scenario, they're surrounded by a ring of fire. Because they fucking landed in a fucking forest. The forest is now on fire around them. And they all died. They all died.
From the forest fire?
Correct.
You've got to be fucking
I wouldn't lie to you. I would not lie to you. This is why when people tell me, they're like, you're paranoid, I'm like, fuck you. I have heard every horrible scenario that could go down.
You're just not going to catch me slipping. You know what I mean?
Listen, because I understand things happen. But you must be prepared.
You guys.
I'm bleeding out. I'm jugular, neck. I'll do you, you do me.
Do you think that would be the move?
If they gave you, instead of on the planes,
yeah.
If I wish the captain would come on and go, this is your captain speaking. Okay, so there is no hope. We are going to brace for a very hard impact into the Atlantic Ocean. That's right, I said Atlantic.
It's going to be cool.
Now, for some of you who are ready for this, reach above you, grab your mask and put it over your face, and then your child. For those of you who are not feeling confident in our survival rate, if you reach under the seat, there is a 9mm. Feel free to, there's only one bullet. Can't go on a shooting spree. But if you'd like to take your life into your own hands, this would be the time to do it. Captain out. Not to mention, I tip my hats to captains because they are never going to survive because they're in the front.
So you went super dark with that. I thought for sure you were going to be like, the gas released is not, it's just like the night-night gas. They're like, we're not surviving this night-night gas.
Oh, I didn't.
And then
no, because what if you want? What if you want to ride it out? What if you're one of those people that's like, no, I am a strong swimmer.
In the middle of the Atlantic.
I know to do the dead man's pose, and someone will come eventually. Some people have, and that's my point. It's extreme hope. Some people, and you know who people have hope?
God love
people
them.
Who have fulfilled lives. They have husbands and wives and kids and jobs they love and a career that they forge and all of these great things. You cannot not work. Full circle. You cannot not do nothing with your life.
Wow.
Because if you don't,
was an
you like that?
Incredible.
Yeah. Because those people who are like, all right, let me put my head in between my legs. You buckle down. This is what we're going to do when we land. People who have plans in scenarios where you hear these horrific stories and you're like, how did your mom or how did your mom know to get you out of that grocery store and you didn't get shot? Because those people have something to live for.
That is so true.
And when you have something to live for, you will fight a full grizzly bear, as we have seen, in order to live. But people who have given up, I see it all the time, older adults, old folks, they just decide one night when they go to bed, well, this is it, this is it. And they go to sleep and Pop went night and never woke up. That was Pop's plan. Pop wanted to go night. You gotta want to live, and in order to live, I'm not saying that your job should be
shit job you left, but you guys
find something you love.
And I know pride is one of those 7. What is it?
7 deadly sins. Yeah.
But honestly, having a little pride in what you do, I really don't think actually is a 7 deadly sin. I think it's made up. I think loving what you do, enjoying what you do,
correct,
is a crucial element to life, and
giving back to society, leaving.
Oh, absolutely,
leaving something. Point. I always say that I as much as we fuck around and joke around, I also understand this lives forever, and I want to be proud of whatever I've done and whatever time that I have left, and know that you've made an impact in some way. I don't want to just be taking from this earth, taking, no. And never giving anything back. And we all have something to give. Nothing is insignificant. If we've learned that, if you've learned anything from COVID, nothing, no job is insignificant.
Completely.
You should have learned that from COVID. The people, what we experienced being inconvenienced, right? Having to get your groceries shipped to you, you really start to put into, oh, wow, someone had that job. Wow, the checkers really do have a really hard job. Man, I have to self-checkout for the last year. That wasn't easy. Right. Or, just the simplest shits. No jobs are inconsequential. So I know we all feel that way sometimes, but I'm a firm believer in doing what you love. You've got to find something that's your passion. And sometimes that means working a job you fucking hate until you can bridge to that passion. And your passion may not make you a lot of money or give you all the accolades, but if you're happy, that's all that matters. If you're in a fire in the woods after you survived a plane crash, you are going to need some hope.
I love it.
Or you're going to get burnt alive, and that's not a great way to die.
I fucking love it.
Right? Full circle.
Full circle. That was actually one of our best full circles yet. You really nailed that. Mm-hmm. Teed it up, knocked it out of the park.
I think about it all the time. I'm like, do not leave this world as a piece of shit.
Oh, I do. I think about that regularly too.
Do better. Do better too, because you want people to be, and I say this and I know it sounds very conceited, but every person should want to inspire another person to do something better or different. And I always want to put forth a foot that inspires other people, even in the ways, and I'm sure you've had that, where you've had people come up to you and go, you don't even know that you've done this in my life, but you did this thing in my life.
Yes, I have had that.
And it's a very amazing feeling. And it's almost uncomfortable because you're like, okay, well, don't put too much into it. I bullshit at all.
Because I bullshit a lot.
Yeah, but it is something to be said about really inspiring someone and whatever that means. Yeah, I think we should really gravitate towards that.
Look at us.
Just growing and showing. Okay, so I really do have. Okay, so do you have a hate journal entry? Because you did not have one last week. Of course, my iPad is dead. Never prepared on time, but I went first last, or I had one last week. And I just want to know if you have one, because I always
I have a thought. I don't necessarily know if it's a hate journal entry worthy yet.
Okay.
But it kind of goes back to I was wondering, I was going to ask you this week if anybody wrote back on the mid-sized body, on like when we were talking a couple episodes about the shape of the bodies. You guys, I really wanted some feedback because I have lately been following some more body positive women and their sizing. And I found one chick and I really enjoyed her. And I think I've decided that if you want to label your body something, that you can do that and I shouldn't be annoyed about it.
So was it that you were annoyed about the labels?
Well, I just thought, like, why are we fucking labeling everything? Like, pretty soon we're going to be like, not only are you going to be skinny or fat, so then you're going to be like medium fat, and then you're going to be extra fat, then you're going to be like double the triple times fat, and then you're going to be like really skinny, and then you're going to be like kind of skinny, and then you're going to be like, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. It sounds like a good thing, but I'll give it to you. We've probably talked about this before too. A lot of people have always called me really healthy.
You're a very healthy girl.
Or like, you're just like really normal. You're really normal and healthy.
Yeah.
Like the words you're saying to me.
I get sturdy. You're very sturdy.
Oh yeah. I've gotten like healthy. Like you're very healthy. And I'm like,
well, I'm not a tree.
Like watered and fertilized. Like what qualifies me as healthy and her as a supermodel?
Right. It doesn't make.
Both of those words don't sound like terrible, but one has the undertone of not the other.
Yeah, like because it's almost like when someone goes, "Did you do something different to your face?" Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Oh, is that a new piercing? Oh, interesting. That's interesting. You're like, I don't know what that means. Do you not like? First of all,
are you interested?
Are you interested? Like, you don't know how you feel yet? And if that's the case, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Until you know how to feel.
So
yeah, I know what you mean.
I was just kind of perusing some of that. The weeks I haven't really been picking up on a lot besides my own shit. So one of the things that has cheered me up is looking at outfits for women that I feel like for my body type would be nice. And they're still calling themselves all sorts of fucking shit. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll buy.
I do. All of it's very strange to me, but I do enjoy.
I just like size and charts that are accurate. Can I just say, all right, fine.
That's all I want. Like, whatever's going to make my sizing chart the most accurate, I really don't
Because I don't have time to go to Kohl's to return my Amazon $23 purchase, and it will not move.
Absolutely not.
It'll stay in the junk pile, and then I'm fucked.
1,000%.
So that's all I really have. You guys, I know I haven't been bringing the heat, but don't worry, it's coming.
It's coming.
We got to fill that cup back up, and then we'll be fine.
The cuppeth will runneth over very soon. I really have an issue as of late because the no mask thing is really bringing it out. I know that like we don't have masks anymore, right? Like I get it, but can we stop? That doesn't mean we need to go back to doing things that we did before.
Oh, like makeup trends and stuff.
So I am really, there's a few things with the mask thing that So the first thing is this. I don't need you to stand so close to me and speak. Like, back up, back up, back up. I understand we all have masks on, but, like mouthwash is still a thing that everyone should be consistently using. A good floss, a good brush, a good mint. A good mint.
Gum never went out.
Gum.
Or did it?
It did not. I was popping gum even in my mask.
I could feel like that'd be like the refreshing, like.
Right. Like I wanted to refresh myself. I don't understand why people now with the masks off are standing closer than ever. I need you to back up. If you spit into my eyeball, if my eyeball catches some of your spit that's spittled out of your mouth, I'm going to need you to acknowledge that and apologize immediately. Like back, like, oh my God, I'm too close. I am so sorry. I am so close to you that the insides of my mouth spat out of my mouth into your eye.
Yeah.
back up.
Yeah.
Okay?
People are definitely getting a little wild post-pandemic. And we're not totally out of the woods yet, but you guys are getting wild. I will say, I was in a grocery store and somebody was like, basically, like, he was just like resting his head on my shoulder.
He was like, hey, what you
And he was like, hey, God, I'm just kind of tired. I'm just going to hang out here right now.
Back up. I saw this lady in the grocery store who was doing the same.
I'm really sad that you're tired, but I will shoot you in the face.
In the face.
And I mean that. With whatever I have. Maybe it's mace. Maybe it's not.
I went to Walmart out here, which... Instant mistake. Instant mistake. Instant mistake.
Yeah, you always have to go to the quality.
Walmarts. I know better, but I was tired. I was in a pinch. Yeah, I was, and I left Best Buy. And which I had a fabulous interaction, by the way, in Best Buy. I bought for Bill for Father's Day. I got us HomePod minis, and when I got the HomePod home, there was no charger. And the new chargers are expensive. The new C chargers are expensive. And when I went back, they were just so pleasant. And the guy was like, it is not about the money. It is about making sure that you got what you needed when you opened that box. You didn't get that. We're going to change that today. I was like, I did not. First of all, I came in, I just needed like out of 5 customer service. You gave me 10. I only needed 5.
Yeah.
This was a 5 issue. I just need the charger. Like either get me a charger or get me a new iPad or the HomePod mini. You came in at a 10. Like, I don't know if you just got Employee of the Month or you're trying to get Employee of the Month or you just got hired. But either way, you're bringing it. You're bringing the heat. I appreciate it. Yeah. I went into Walmart and I'm in line and I heard my name like 1,000 times. And it was a mixture of like patients and people I went to school with. One guy really blew my tits off.
So good when you hear it.
And this is what my hate journal entry is going to be about, but I'm going to get to your... Okay, so I'm in the line, and there's a lady in front of me, and this really nice checkout clerk. She sees... I didn't even see it, but someone had spilled something on the ground. The lady in front of me is just in the lady in front of her's ass. Like, she is... This lady hasn't even stuck in her car. Like, she's not even done scanning her shit yet. And she is basically checking out with her. She's like, so are we putting this on debit or credit or... I'm like, back? But fine. If this lady doesn't want to say anything to you, that's between you and her. But this really nice older lady who's working at Walmart comes out and she's like spraying. So spraying. What happens when you spray? A mist.
Yeah.
You smell it. Move the fuck out of the way. Instead, this lady's not moving her foot. And the lady who's cleaning up isn't saying anything. Like, she just wants to get this mess cleaned up. So finally, this lady forces me to, as an adult, to another adult, go, ma'am, can you move so she can clean this? She's like, I didn't even see her. I'm like, you didn't see a full human by your feet.
The worst part is she probably didn't. That's part of the problem.
Well, that's part of the problem. That's what I'm saying. You're that out of touch. This is how you get murked in a grocery store. You're not even paying attention to who's around you. Your surroundings. There's a woman at your feet cleaning. Yeah. You've learned nothing. See, you, ma'am, you've learned nothing from this pandemic. You're the reason why we're in this mess. More and more when I go outside, I'm like, oh, you're the reason. You're the reason. You're it. You're it.
0.
Yep, you're it. You're another one. So I'm in line. My journal entry this week is, I do not like when people tell you information that is shock value, but deliver it like it's no big deal. I don't like that. I actually hate it. So I'm going to tell you what happened.
Okay.
I'm in line, and depending on the area of town that I'm in, I may or may not run into more patients than not.
Sure.
Depending on where I'm at, I run into a lot of people listening to the show. And I don't mind any of that. I really don't. I don't mind any of it. We start casually talking, this person and I. And they're like, man, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you since we were 16. I'm like, it's great to see you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. But I understand the interaction is going to go on longer. And it's rude if I put my headphones back in. So we start to gabbing. And this person's telling me all about their life and about what they've been up to. Very short story, by the way. Very short story. And at one point he goes to me. Now I am 38 years old. I'm 38. In school, I was born in January. So I am at the right age for the class I was in. Not one of those kids that was a year that should have been in this grade or should have been. Nope, I'm right on. He said to me, how is life going? Blah, blah, blah. I said, it's going great. Little one's out of school. We're so close. We're almost done. She's almost going to be 18. He said, well, I'm 18. I've been working with my 26-year-old for the last 7 years. And I started running the math real quick in my brain. Like, did I hear him right? Did he say 26? Did he say 26? He didn't say 26. So I said, well, I thought he meant like 16. And I was like, well, that's cool that you have a kid in school who's also willing to help you. He's like, no, 26, I got a grandbaby too.
And he's somebody you went to high school with?
Just doing some quick math. I think you may have been molested. Because sounds like you had a baby, or y'all had a baby before you could. I didn't even know sperm worked at that age. Like, I thought.
So it had to be like
13.
Oh, it works.
Well, I don't know, because I've never been a child who's been pregnant. But also, I'm more concerned about the fact that you got raped as a child. Like, was it another 13-year-old?
Yeah.
Like, I have so many questions. Yeah. Was it a grown woman?
Yeah.
Was it what was the scenario upon which you are throwing this info? I did not ask this information.
26 years old, 38. Well, okay, if he was,
so I'm not judging.
He 2 years older than you?
No, he's the same age as me.
Okay, yeah, that's alarming.
He's
that's
the same age as me. So my point is you do not throw that type of information out to an individual you have not seen in over a decade.
No, you know what?
I'm just wrong. In the store. I just want to check out. I just want to grab.
And now here we are a week later chatting about it, and it's stressing you out. You have visible signs of stress.
It's like, have you ever run into someone and you're like, you on a face value, you're just like, how are you? That's a quick answer. Yeah, I'm good. Even if you're not, you lie. Oh, you lie like everybody else, and you go, doing great. Yeah, busy, go. That's it. That should be the extent.
You're right. You're not wrong.
There's nothing worse than when you go, so how are things going? And they're like, well, Bob got cancer again. The cancer came back. You're thinking to yourself, who the fuck is Bob? Oh, it did? Yep, the cancer came back. And you remember Dorothy. Well, she got hit by a bus. So anyways, we've been dealing with her house. Turns out she was a hoarder. I'm like, whoa, first of all, I'm already too deep into this.
Yeah.
I just simply ran into you. You were my art teacher when I was 11. I just wanted to know how you're doing.
And I didn't.
But you see this on social media, right? Because people will do this all the time. They overshare.
Oh my God. You know what? That is a good one.
I don't like the over. If you just met me, if we just meet tomorrow and I'm like, hey, we work together. Hey, good to meet you. I'm Mamba. You're AP. Great to meet you. And the next words out of your mouth are, it's good to meet you too. I've really been looking for some good girlfriends since my husband left me after cheating on me with his brother's wife's brother. What? I don't need all those facts. I don't even know you. Do not tell me detrimental information about your life and I just met you.
I just saw one recently, and this is no shade to her if she listens to us, because I'm not going to say the name specifically, but I got really mixed tinglies inside. So she showed an image of herself and she's singing this song, and it was the song like, I'm not happy now, but I'm just way less sad. Right? You know what I'm talking about? It's pretty good.
You're like, uh-oh.
And it has a little caption and it says, how I feel about finding out that my boyfriend of 4 years was cheating on me for 2 and then had a baby behind my back.
Oh, no. No. That's all information you got to tell a therapist immediately. What? No. Don't tell anyone that.
That's wild, right?
And it's not about, I need the person who, if you are listening, I need you to understand something. It's not about the fact that we don't want you to have support. You know what that does? It bums me out. Because it makes me believe that you have no one in your life.
How could you not take it like that? It was just and I'm not saying that you need to like shut that in.
No,
because there are amazing
don't shut that in.
Friends, and obviously, like we said, professional help that will really help you cope with like the trauma of that, because
that is horrible
to be fucking traumatizing. Like to be in a young committed relationship only to find out.
I mean, that's earth shattering.
That is literally earth shattering. That whole little sentiment thing was just, and like, right, you got that like, ugh. And on top of that, sharing that with people who could care less about you.
That's what bums me out.
That's what bums me out. The oversharing is like when people are sharing their miscarriage stories, they're sharing the death of a child. Like these are all things that hit heavy with me. When they're sharing the loss of a partner, holy Christ, I just burst into tears watching. And I happen to believe that I'm a decent fucking person, but like, could you imagine like sharing this outpour of intimacy and again, it's just not me, you guys. Like, and I know everybody's different, but I could not agree with you more. The overshare is, we've got to get this under control.
We got to get the oversharing under control, because it's not just on social. That's what I'm saying. It's not just on social media. Strangers do it to me all of the time. And I don't care what anyone says. You guys are all so sweet and so nice. I do not have a face that says share with me. I don't. When I am in the store, I have headphones and I don't. I purposefully look down at the ground and I look very busy. Like I always look like I'm trying to find the baby that I misplaced in the store. That's what I look. I look very stressed out, and that's on purpose because I don't want to deal with more people, and that's just a selfish thing, right? But if I run into people, fine, it is what it is. But we've got to get out of this place where you are oversharing with people who are not in your inner circle. And if you don't have an inner circle, write into our show. You can write into our show. We can talk about it. We can vent. Yeah, give you ideas. Like there are other productive ways than, because I am telling you guys, when you share with a stranger in that way, because they went to the store to get milk. They were not prepared to hear about Bob and his fucking prostate cancer coming back.
Yes, that's true.
You go online because you're having a shit day and you want to see a funny TikTok that makes you smile, and now I got your fucking shit up talking about, and you're like, oh, fuck. Well, that fucking, even if I want to be bummed out for you, I can't because I don't want to be bummed out right now. That's the only thing. So when people go to social media, 9 times out of 10, they're doing it because they don't, it's a distraction. You want to lift your mood. Or you want to find something funny to laugh at and lift your spirits. When I see people doing the most, I have someone I know who does this all the time. He puts his relationship in the ether for everybody. And they do it in code. Like he'll do something passive aggressive. She'll put out something passive aggressive. It's like, you guys, we can read between. Why are you making this so uncomfortable for everybody? I don't like it.
Yeah, it is not a good look, you guys. We're gonna have to get this. We can beat it. Bring back jobs.
Get back to work. Because you know what? You know who you can overshare with? Who can't leave? Who has to listen? Your coworker at work, Sarah.
Oh my God. And you guys are gonna become new best friends.
You guys will. And that bitch can't go anywhere. She cannot, literally, she's clocked in for 8 to 10 hours.
And you guys will talk about intimate details of your life. And then you'll go get marks even after hanging out for 8 hours.
And by the way, these are the same people that you work with, that you're going to quit this job, go to another one, never speak to these people again. You told them the most intimate details of your life.
That, or you'll take one of them with you.
You usually take one straggler, but you usually don't take the crew. But the amount of things that I have heard in a group setting, and I have said to a group setting, depending on what's going on in our lives at work, is shit that, I mean, maybe I haven't even told you, maybe. And you do it because you're together for that long all day.
Proximity.
Go back to work, people. You've got to get back to work, because I am telling you, the amount of overshare, when he said 26.
Okay, that is an alarming number.
I was like,
that is an absolutely alarming
number. You were raped. Does someone know you were?
Well, I mean, unless it was 2 13-year-olds.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is still sick in its own right.
But if one was like 16, 17. definitely taking it.
Here, all I'm going to say is I don't like it.
I don't care for it. And that's not information you share with someone you haven't seen in well over a decade in the middle of Walmart in line. Definitely you shouldn't share that with me. Definitely you shouldn't share that with me.
No.
And not because I'm going to come on my podcast and talk about it. No, and he's a great guy. I'm not saying, like, that's great. He has this great relationship with his kid. And that's really amazing. Truly it is. It's really great. But also, I don't need, like, you should have just, like, I'm good. Pandemic, that's the new thing. Like, how was the pandemic free? Was it? That's my only thing to say to people now. Did you survive the pandemic okay? All I needed was a yep. That's not what I got. I got a lot of information that I didn't need. I was very confused. And the woman who was with him, she could see the confusion. Yeah. And I think she was reading it like judgment. I'm not judging. I'm concerned. Should we call somebody? Should we get you into therapy? You guys quit over sharing. But I do think that everyone needs to get it out. So if you need to get it out, get into therapy, write
social media is not the move.
Social media is not.
Write it as a show, get a good girlfriend, go back to work. I love it.
Get a dog. Talk to your dog. I talk to my dogs all the time.
Yeah.
They're my biggest fans. They line up. Yeah, they line up. I will tell you, I did think about you before we get done. I had a relationship fight. I'm going to start sharing petty relationship fights so that other people can, because I think sometimes when you have these petty fights with your spouse, you're like, you're insane. But you're like, no, this is super normal. So Saturday I left, I went to Walmart. Like I said, I was having a very weird day. And in our house, we do have a dog door, but in the laundry room, before I leave the house, I always tell the boys, I'll see you when I get home. Behave yourselves. If I get home and you behaved, everyone's gonna get treats. We're all getting treats, okay? So they usually get like very excited. They go sit in their areas on the couch and they relax, and then I leave. That's exactly what happened. I grab my phone, I grab my keys, I head out the door. I get a panicked phone call from my husband. I'm in Walmart. Again, a lot of things happening. He's like, Max was outside. When I was coming home, he was running down the street, ears flipped back, blister on his ear from the heat of the sun. And obviously, I instantly feel awful. I mean, it's my dog. I love my dogs.
Yeah, of course.
Max, I love Max more than a lot of motherfuckers in this house. If someone has to go, it's not going to be Max. Max is staying. Oh, like some of you can go. Max is staying. So I get in the house, and I'm just like, we're on the phone, and he's like talking to me like, I was like, you want an adventure while I go to the store? Why don't you go for a heated adventure and I'll be back? Clearly, I didn't mean to leave the dog. Like, the dog got out in the garage somehow, and when I closed the garage, I was probably putting on makeup and didn't see him. He was like, bye mom. Bye mom. I'm out. So I get home, and my husband is just like really worked up about this. He's just like, I can't believe you would let this dog out. And I said, well, I mean, you're not being rational, because I didn't purposefully let the dog out. Yeah. I love this dog. And we were going back and forth. And at some point, I get so mad that we were going round and round about this. Because I'm like, I don't know how the dog got out. And he's like, well, did it get out with your imagination? I was like, well, I don't like your tone. I don't like the tone you're taking with me right now. Okay? We're going back and forth, and I get so mad. There's a bucket. I just kick the bucket.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to kick the bucket.
But when I kicked the bucket, my shoe flew off. He didn't know what was happening, but
very startled.
Well, right, because you've got a shoe and a bucket, and it was a Birkenstock,
and I'm sure it's very loud.
Well, the bucket wasn't loud. I will say the kick was spot on. I could have been a kicker. But like the bucket went flying, and then the Birkenstock went like zooming past his face. And he said to me, he goes, nice way to handle it with violence. like you know when your spouse like talks, you're like
is talking therapy back to you.
Right. He was like, way to use your words.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just started laughing, and he started laughing, and I was like, well, I'm sorry I kicked a bucket at your face. He's like, yeah, that's a great kick though. Like, you were spot on. Like,
you're like, I didn't mean to kick it. Like, I didn't think it was gonna be so good. I thought it was gonna be like a warning kick.
No,
like,
no, I was going.
Oh,
I was like, you're either gonna shut up because you're on your own, or this bucket's gonna hit you in the mouth and it's gonna shut you the fuck up.
I'm 1,000% with that.
Because remember, I just left Walmart, Lemon Valley.
Yeah.
The lady of the floor.
Yeah.
I'm still processing a lot what's happening for me. The dog's out. I'm still trying to figure out how.
Yeah.
And you're making me feel bad about it. I wasn't proud. But I kicked the bucket, and he full on said to me, because violence is the answer. Violence is never the answer, okay? Use your words.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it really got me.
I will match you with one very short and sweet one because I can't think of the specific incidents, but my husband will do this all the time.
Yeah.
And it enrages me. An incident very similar to that would happen.
Yeah.
Let's just say things happen, right? Sometimes you close the door behind you too fast and it'll crack open, or you will leave a candle on.
Right.
Like you might leave the kitchen island. Things happen and they're irresponsible and you're bummed out because with Max, like that was such a sad thing because his little ear blister. And then for me, like it's always the what ifs. Like what if the house caught on fire? What if the kids' fingers got crushed, right? My husband does this thing where like an incident like this will happen and then he will say, why did you do that? In which case I will have to match him with, well, you know what I was thinking about leaving the front door open. I thought better if somebody robs us and then we don't have to replace the door.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, when I forgot to lock it, I just thought, I don't want to risk them kicking it in.
Why don't I just let them come in and
I'll just let them come in and take whatever you want, and then you can exit out without ruining the door, right? Didn't that make thought? Why the fuck are you asking me that?
Like, fucking clearly,
why the fuck did you let the dog out? Like,
why are we going round and round about this? I clearly didn't let my favorite fucking, and I'm going to say it, person, not dog. He is my favorite fucking person.
No, 1,000%.
I love him. Seriously, he is I had him before I had you. And do you really think that I set him out in this? Like, what the fuck is wrong? That's what I was saying to him. I was fucking kicking the bucket. I was like, what world do you live in where I did this on purpose? That whole story
reminded me of a million of the petty husband marriage fights that like that's a statement.
It was really cute.
Why would you do that?
I was like, what?
Oh, when I really sit down and I think about it, let me mull it over.
Well, he was really cute. He goes, you didn't have, I said, what was the main issue when you called me and you told me what happened? And then I had my response. He goes, your response wasn't big enough. And I said, well, right. Cause I'm in a fucking store.
To be matched.
I'm in a store.
That makes sense.
Did you want me to throw down my items, start hysterically? No! Did you want me to do this? I'm on my way. I'm running to the car. What? Well, do you have him in the house? Is he safe? Okay, well, I'm going to continue shopping. When I'm done with these items, getting them food, doing all the other shit, getting your shit, then I will be home to deal with the problem. None of this was it was so funny. And he just started laughing. He was like, I'm really sorry. I should have made you feel bad. I'm like, no, but just like, common sense.
I already felt bad, motherfucker.
I already felt bad. He's my favorite dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know we're getting out of the pandemic slump. We're all starting to act a little weird. I think I might have the pandemic blues.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should start calling it the pandemic blues. The PB, the pandemic blues.
PB, post pandemic blues. PPB. Guys, we're gonna beat it.
We're gonna beat this. We're gonna beat the PPB. And if your therapists take this and use it and coin it, I want my money. Run me my motherfucking money. Run us our money because that is brilliant. PPB.
Yeah, you might be able to just go in and ask your doctor to prescribe you something for PPB. They're like,
what did they say would help? I don't know. They weren't specific. They just said it's not great.
Give me the cocktail.
You know what? Mix it up. Just mix it up. You guys, I cannot thank everyone enough. AP and I do this for a lot of different reasons, but You guys are amazing. Our numbers are wild. Like, we just have the best support. So we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode.
Absolutely.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, which is The Hate Journals. And of course, Twitter is The Hate Journals. And our website is thehatejournals.com. We love you guys, and we will see you next week. Bye.